Welcome, everybody. Today, we're going to talk to Teri Campbell. And Teri is a food photographer, but has also been dabbling in a lot of AI. And I can't wait to talk more about this and just kind of learn what's going on, because I see this more and more. And I want to find out how that's affecting marketing and also the food industry. So Teri, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So let's start by kind of walking through your food journey. So you were a photographer, and then you got into food. So talk to me a little bit about that. How did you get started and why food?
Yeah, I guess, photography was I came to a little bit later. I came to it when I was 16. I got a camera for my 16th birthday. A lot of photographers kind of knew when they were 7 years old they wanted to be a photographer. That really wasn't me. It was more when I got the camera, which I'd asked for. I got a camera for my 16th birthday, and then I thought I better learn how to use this. So I took some classes in high school and tried to learn how to use the camera, and got just smitten with it, and built a darkroom in my parents' basement, and then went to school for photography. Started working at P&G right out of school, as a contractor. I wasn't an employee, but I was a contractor in their photography department. So, we just did tons and tons of food. And after about 4 years there and various assisting jobs, I decided that I was going to, hang my own shingle and go out on my own. And at the time, I really loved the collaboration of working with the other photographers at P&G and all the things we got to do. And we got to do some food then too, because P&G still had food brands at that time. So I was really in love with that collaboration. Once you got on your own, you're really on an island. Everybody stops talking to you because now you're competition. And
Yeah.
it just was a very strange relationship. And, this is 1988. So before the word foodie even exists. At that time, photographers didn't like shooting food. It was laborious. It took a long time. It was highly specialized. So I thought, even if I'm only, the worst photographer shooting food, I'm one of five instead of one of 40. So it just felt like a place I wanted to go. Plus, like I said, it gave me the opportunity to collaborate with food stylists, which was what I loved. So for me, it was kind of a business decision, and being able to work with other people. So because I am not your typical foodie, as we think of them. I'm more of a meat and potatoes kind of guy. But I love the work, and I love photography. I love lighting food. So that's the part that really inspires me.
Yeah. Awesome. And talk to me a little bit more then about how you started getting into AI and how that's influencing what you're doing moving forward.
Yeah, well, the kind of work we do, it's commercial photography for packaging or for point of purchase. So menus, the grocery store, the things you buy every day, all of that photography. So for us, that's kind of the bread and butter daily stuff that we do, and the stuff that I really enjoy doing. The AI, I've just kind of discovered in the last few months, really, that as I started to look into the technology and see what was available, my immediate thoughts were, how can I use this in the photography work that I'm already doing? And one of the projects we had just done last summer involved shooting a kitchen behind a model. We had a stock kitchen photograph. And I thought, what if I could have created that in AI? Could I have created a different kind of kitchen? Could I have adjusted it more? I remember there were conversations at some point that, maybe they wanted a kitchen that had a holiday theme. And I thought, could I add a holiday theme pretty easily with the AI? And so that was my initial thoughts on how to use it. And then it just kept morphing. And I started finding out that I could create, an entire shot if I wanted to. It doesn't work for everything. It has a lot of limitations still. But, there were times you could create something almost entirely from the AI. But certainly for me, it's been backgrounds, it's been elements, it's been things to add to shots. It's been inspiration and color theory, because you can kind of try a bunch of things. If you were going to build a set, or if you were thinking of creating something, you could try to see what the colors work and how the sets could work and how the props could be. So it's kind of invaded almost every aspect of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. And, you and I connected on LinkedIn. And so I've kind of gotten addicted to all of the things that you're posting on LinkedIn. But what really fascinated me was that it seems like for what we do for cookbooks, there is so much potential, and some of that to create a really unique cookbook. For example, we're going to work with a very high-end cabinet manufacturer next month and start creating a custom cookbook. And I'm looking at what they do, so it's this very elevated approach to things and thinking, it would be super interesting to see if there were ways to incorporate some of the AI elements into some of the photos that they're going to shoot for their cookbook. So I've got that in the back of my mind as we talk, and just think about how to take all the cookbook images up a notch, because this is just fascinating.
Yeah, the kitchens I've been able to create are really fun. Like I've told it to give me an industrial, stainless steel kitchen or whatever it is. I give it prompts, and then it returns that, but it also returns a little bit more. It can take it a little bit further. Like I never would have thought that the upper cabinets are open metal shelves packed full of stuff. But that looks really cool. So it's just it's the discovery process for me, and that's what I love. I'm not a photographer that kind of envisions the shot and then I'm going to go create it. That doesn't usually work for me. What works for me more is kind of knowing it when I see it, and working in a direction and finding a spark. And that's where AI is so perfect, because you can start down a road and then there's a spark and you're like, oh, okay, let's do that. Let's do more of that.
Yeah. And I think you said it a couple of minutes ago, but let's say it again. Who do you work with most often? What kinds of clients are ideal for you?
Well, we do a lot of fast food. There always seems to be a QSR somewhere in our client roster, but we do a lot of work with KFC, Jimmy John's, Baskin Robbins. We
Okay.
do stuff for Maker's Mark because we do some beverage stuff as well. And then, a lot of packaging for Kraft Heinz, Kellogg's, Hershey's, that kind of stuff.
All right. Love it. Um, and then talk to me, have you done any cookbook projects up to this point or no?
I, I've done one, but it was a promotional project that we did
Yeah.
years ago now, and it was called a Small Fries Kids Cookbook. And
Oh,
we partnered with
nice.
an agency that did the design and a food stylist that worked with us on it. And we solicited kids to send us recipes, and then we did a recipe, a photograph for every recipe, and we did included a picture of the child and the recipe, and it was kind of a tear apart book, glue bound, so you could just keep the recipes you really wanted. You didn't
Yeah.
have to keep the whole book. So we did that, and we donated the proceeds to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital. But that's been quite a few years ago now. And other than that, we do a lot of things that are kind of recipe inspired, for some of the corporations we work with for use on their recipe pages or in social media or stuff like that, but not a complete cookbook.
Tell me more about how you look at, from a marketing perspective, how you're looking at not just the AI, but the photography as a whole, because I think sometimes people overlook the power of the image that is
Hmm.
drawing people in. So how do you approach, or what are your what's your take on how that influences marketing?
No, I mean, obviously, I think photography has a lot of power. And one of the ways I like to describe it is that, if you took a picture of a package or, of a car part, there could be a lot of photographs that were okay. Some would be exceptional, some would be really hideous, but, there'd be a lot that were acceptable and they're fine. They work for what you need. With food, it's like it's either makes you hungry or it doesn't.
Mm,
And so there's not, it's a very thin line and it's easy to cross over to the other side. So you really have to make sure the food is appetizing, pulling people in, making them want to purchase that product or, buy that product on the menu board. So, yeah, I definitely think it has a huge impact. And I think where the AI will have, the most impact immediately that I see is just in content marketing, because we're trying to create these images that are going to live on Facebook for a few days or whatever. The scale goes way down because they really think it's just not, they don't want to invest that much money because it's not going to be seen for that long. So AI allows us to create things at a much lower cost. I can create a whole kitchen scene, strip the product into it, and that's fine. But if I had to build a whole kitchen, light it, put the product in it, that's too much expense
yeah.
for something that's going to be used in social. So I see it as, content marketing. It could be huge. If I were running a magazine that I just needed a photograph of pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving and I didn't need Mary's pumpkin pie, why can't I do that with AI now? So
Yeah.
it's gonna creep in and it's gonna change things, but I think it's gonna change things for the better. This is just another tool for us all to use and for us to explore and build upon, and now we can do so much more.
Yeah. I love that. And one of the reasons I wanted to ask you about that was because my husband was a photographer. He's retired now. He was a photographer for years, and we both worked at Parks and Wildlife magazine, Texas Parks and Wildlife magazine, and we were like this because he was all about the images. I was all about the words. And so, we had to find that middle ground. But I have come to appreciate the images and how they really draw people into and lead them into the words, if you will. So I've come to appreciate it and acknowledge it in a way that I haven't in a long time. So, yeah, it was your image of the camera that finally got
Yeah.
me to. I was like, I really do need to talk to him. So I loved it.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
prompted it. If
Yeah.
AI were a camera, what would it look like?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
It was great. If anybody's looking for it, go to Teri's LinkedIn. You'll find it. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about you. You said you're a meat and potatoes kind of guy. Any food experiences or favorite meals or anything like that that you can share?
um, I think probably one of the favorite meals was I was actually in Italy, and we were in a small town, where the market kind of comes around just once a week, where they bring in the food trucks, Italian small food trucks, and so it was market day, and I remember we went down there and we just got a rotisserie chicken, Parmesan cheese, and bread, and it was like the best meal ever. It was just so amazing and so fresh and so good, and that just really captivated me. I mean, that's been 14 years ago. I still remember it. Like I just want to sit down and have that meal again. But I guess well, another one is another Italian connection, but there's a restaurant in Cincinnati called Soto that my wife and I usually go to on our anniversary, and it's really incredible. We really love that, the ambiance there, and the food, of course, is delicious. So
I love the
yeah,
food memories. Food, it
they're
just
so
sticks.
strong.
Yeah, it sticks in
Yeah,
our heads, and we get that feeling all over again, even if we're not standing in Italy at that moment.
yeah, yeah. Well, my mom used to always make me chicken and dumplings on my birthday, and I've
Mm.
I've tried to recreate it, but she's been gone a few years now, and you can't get it back. You can't get the
It's
magic.
hard. I know
Hmm.
it's hard. That was one of the reasons we started the Cookbook Creative, was because we just wanted to capture family recipes.
Yeah, yeah.
So people are all over the world are scrambling for their parents' recipes. So it's a good way
It's
to
good
put
to
them all
have those.
together.
Yeah, good to have those in a spot. That's what I don't have, is I don't have those recipes. I have bits and pieces I find, going through some stuff, but never the full thing. I wish I had done that before we were at this stage.
Yeah. As you sort of evolve as a photographer, are there any big goals for you coming up?
Um, I think right now it's just exploring the AI, having some fun with that, trying to see where this takes me. It's been a renaissance of a lot of ways for me because I felt like we do a lot of fun stuff. We have a lot of great projects. But I was looking for kind of the next challenge and where I might go from here. And the AI for now has kind of provided that spark. It's got me excited in a way that I haven't been since I think I got that first camera when I was 16. Just, in the way it's opened up so many possibilities. And the other thing I'm doing with the AI that I wasn't able to do before was, I got when I first hung out my shingle and started my business, it was like I did food photography, but I also shot Pampers and Folgers coffee and whatever else. I shot whatever I could, and eventually I got to the point where I was doing mostly food, and kind of the scales tipped, and everybody said, "Oh, you're the food guy," which is great because I got really wonderful food assignments, but nobody thought I could do anything else. And I
Mm.
loved shooting portraits and some of the other stuff, but really to hire a model to get a location, hire hair and makeup, and do all that just for me was too expensive and cost prohibitive. So I just didn't do it anymore. With AI, I can explore people again. I can explore, shooting architecture or whatever it is. I can do so many things, and I can just try it. And it doesn't cost me anything really to try an idea or see where that goes. And it may spark something else that I can use in what I typically shoot. Or maybe I am able to do something I don't normally do.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Mhm.
Real quickly back to Cincinnati, since that's where you
Yeah,
are. Is there anything in Cincinnati that is there a food that Cincinnati is known
yeah,
for?
yeah. That's an easy one. Cincinnati chili.
Oh,
Cincinnati has more chili parlors per capita than anywhere else in the United States, including Texas.
woo, them's
So
fighting
it's
words.
now, yeah, but you're really gonna hate us if you come here because it's not Texas style chili. It is
Yeah,
Greek chili, so it's very thin and it's served over spaghetti. So you would get it over spaghetti with cheddar cheese on top. That would be called a three-way, or you would get it over a hot dog in a bun with cheese on top, and that's a coney. Some people would add onions to that. You can also add onions and beans to the three-way. But Cincinnati style chili is definitely what we're known for. That would be the number one thing. And yeah, it's a fun food town. You know, it's a Midwest town. Cincinnati is also the branding capital of the world. Um, P&G being based here pretty much invented brand marketing. And so, you know, some of the largest offices for Landor, for, you know, some of the big agencies are based here in Cincinnati. So it's a really great mecca just to be in the advertising business. And you also have so many restaurants that are located in the Midwest, you know, with Wendy's and KFC and Long John Silver's and Maker's Mark just to the south, and, you know, Steak and Shake in Indianapolis. So it's and Donato's Pizzas in Columbus. It's a real hotbed of that kind of stuff.
wow. See, so many things I never knew about Cincinnati.
It's a
Well,
great little town. I mean, I'm born and raised, so I'm biased,
yeah,
but yeah, I love it. And like I said, it's been great for my business and what I've wanted to do.
cool. Is there do you have a chili recipe or any other recipes that you'd want to share with
Oh, I
everybody?
don't know. I'd have to find. The chili recipes are so secretive. They're all, you know. We have two main competing franchises, and they just, you know, you're either a Skyline chili person or a Gold Star chili person. You know, you can't be both.
Yeah,
You have to choose, and they keep the recipe secret. Everybody says that there's chocolate in it. That's why it's so addicting. Because if you're Cincinnatian and you like chili, you're there about once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks.
wow.
So it's an addicting kind of product. They sell it in cans for people that move away because it's really doesn't go much beyond you know, the tri-state here of Cincinnati, Indiana, and Kentucky, or Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Never heard of
So
it, but now I'm fascinated.
look it up. You'll find
I
it pretty
will.
easily.
Well, I have appreciated every minute of talking to you. If people want to get in touch with you or follow you, first of all, if they want to work with you, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, the easiest way is probably just on my website, terristudios.com. It's TERI, just one R, studios plural.com. And I'm on LinkedIn at Terry Studios. I'm on Instagram at Terry Studios. Not really active on Facebook, but LinkedIn is where we have been posting most of the stuff. And then you can find some of that on our website and contact information there. But it's Terry at Terry Studios is my email address.
Very good. And I will be sure and post links and the
Yeah.
information so people can get to you easily. Is there anything else you want to share?
No, I just think, you know, I would like to say that AI, I know there's been a lot of talk lately, and there's people on both sides of this issue. I actually had a friend who was an artist that was very concerned initially, but we had some conversations, and he's actually using it now to create some ideas and stuff for future paintings he wants to do. So I think that it's really just another tool. It's just like Photoshop was. It's just like, you know, autofocus was. You know, those things, you know, everybody thought, well, you don't need a photographer, you can just Photoshop, you know, but
Yeah.
you still need a photographer. And you'll still need a photographer with AI because we're in the idea business. You know, people can buy the same cameras and lights we have now, but they can't do what we do. And I think the same is true with AI, that sure, a lot of people will have more tools than they had before. But I think those of us that are in the field and understand how to use it and are creative will have superpowers. So I just hope that you know, people can explore, try it out, see what it's like, at least be aware of it, because I think that, you know, the genie's out of the bottle. We really can't stop it now. So let's just see how we can use this, and like I said, it's given me new life. I can't be more excited about it.
That's awesome. And I'm going to echo what you said from the writing side, because
Hmm.
I am one of those that has resisted all of the new AI generated copy, because it's the
Hmm.
same mindset that oh dear, they're going to replace all the writers and they won't need us anymore. And you're right, it's just another tool in the toolbox. And especially if it makes it possible for small business owners to even just to get started with some copy and then be able to put their own personality into it and put their own spin on it and have something to edit from. I think that's a valuable tool. So I just want to echo that. I think people do need to experiment with it because it is here. So how can we leverage it and make it work for us?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Cool.
Teri, thanks so much. And
Hey, great talking to you.
Yeah, you too. I'll get this posted and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks.